Hey, welcome back to Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Vinny. And today we're going to talk about Nancy Pelosi and how she sold Nvidia exactly at the right time, kind of, shoring up her reputation as stock trading goddess, if you will. We're talking a little bit about it and see what the stories are and when I would potentially get interested in buying some Nvidia stock.
Or incredibly corrupt. If you like this kind of entertaining stock market content where it's two stupid guys trying to figure everything out, let's get started. Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. Just
Right.
go ahead and
So,
use our like and subscribe button as a Nancy Pelosi may have done insider trading. Trading.
trading.
Trading. Sure.
Yeah, this was prompted by this tweet here, the Nancy Pelosi stock tracker. We did a separate video talking about like her kind of reputation or prowess, if you will, a little bit of a stock trader, and how she's consistently outperformed the market average over decades, which is pretty hard to do. Her and Warren Buffett, they're like this close in terms of the performance. I'm actually not joking about that part. She's not far off with Buffett's status. But the main question here is this Nvidia trade, where she sold pretty close to the top of the recent or her husband sold most recently, and kind of right about the top of the market over the summertime for Nvidia. We're going to show you on the chart where it was in terms of the timing here. It's been an absolute bloodbath for Nvidia going back over a year here. Not pretty, and it's only gotten worse. If you kind of look down here, it's now hiding behind the volume bars, which is never a good sign when your lows are just hiding behind the volume bars.
Yeah, on Yahoo Finance, I think that's a really, really good example of a stock that's in trouble because they don't adjust when you get that low. So once you have
Yeah.
points in the volume bars, problem.
Yeah, that's actually probably an underappreciated indicator of a stock that's in big trouble. This is once again the tweet here talking about how they sold 25,000 shares. They had converted calls into actual shares, and then they dumped the shares. They dumped the shares right around the time the CHIPS Act was getting ready to be passed by Congress, and they kind of foreran, fortunately for them, a couple of major negative issues here. One, you have the Nvidia pre-announcement. You have an Nvidia reporting a not so great quarter. And you also have this now new limitation or kind of export ban to China and Russia of Nvidia chips. Russia is not really much of a factor in that, but China certainly is. I'm going to show you exactly about how much of the revenue comes from China.
Yeah, so did she know about this or
Ooh, it'd be hard for her to not know about this. Let's be honest.
interesting.
Frankly, it was about a month before, so I'm not exactly sure how long this was in the works. But I'd be hard pressed to believe the fact that if this were in the works at that point, which it probably was, that she wasn't aware of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know it was coming. So I put some kind of key timelines
Oh
around
my
on the
gosh.
stock chart here. Yeah, I know, right? It sells it, doesn't it? So she
Oh
sold
boy.
right here, this first red arrow, all 25,000 shares, or her husband did, whatever. Kind of close out their position in Nvidia stock. Over the next few weeks, it kind of continued going up about the next 2 weeks or so. And then we get the Nvidia pre-announcement where they say, "Hey guys, our revenue is going to come in nowhere close to what we originally expected." I have that kind of news headline in here from that. Stock was like going sideways a little bit until they finally actually announced, and it was utter garbage as they had pre-announced.
It
When a
was not
company
good.
pre-announces,
There was a problem. Missed top
yeah,
line, bottom line, future. It was not good.
yeah, exactly. And then, of course, we have this other big gap down here. That's a pretty sizable gap. What do you think they're doing? Thigh gap?
Thigh gap. That's the name of my LLC. No big deal. Yeah, I mean that's what is it? 6% ish.
Yeah. Um, so this is that China import ban. The reason why they got hit so hard by that is if you look at their revenue by region, this
Oof.
dark blue is China. So pretty
Oof.
sizable. Yeah.
So they
More
doubled.
so than the U.S. even actually. Their number one market is Taiwan, and then the China mainland and including Hong Kong, which is included in this import ban, and finally the U.S. would be third on their list as far as like actual revenue. Did you realize that U.S. was only number three on their revenue?
I did not actually. That is news to me. That is pretty wild.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Eesh.
uh, it's it's kind of amazing how much of an impact this will have on them, and that, in my opinion, the stock drop is not even close to like what would be reasonable based upon that. Yeah, pretty
Ooh,
scary.
so what would be reasonable, Vinny?
Oh, I'm going to show you here in a second when I'm going to start getting a little bit more interested
Wow.
in doing a little bit deeper dive in terms of due diligence on Nvidia side, because it is a company I would love to own. Full disclaimer, I don't own any at this particular point in time. But this is the reason why I threw this in here. This is from CNBC. This is their PE. When you're talking about a stock that even after this recent drop, it still has a 45 PE, that's risky as hell to me because that's a company that was priced for perfection, and it is very apparent that they have some serious headwinds that they're going to have to overcome to even approach like reasonable growth at this point.
The argument against that is AMD. Because they were
Sure.
chilling at 100 PE for a while, but then every earnings report, it would just go like 80, 50,
Yeah.
40. Like they were catching up. And I'm sure that this also
True.
affects AMD.
That was a different time in the cycle, though. We are
That's
not
fair.
in that phase anymore.
That's
We
real.
are
We're
in
in
the
the cool
phase
down.
where, yeah, exactly. Um, this is from their pre-announcement warning here. They talk about how they were expected to have $8.1 billion in revenue, and they came in at 6.7. Pretty sizable, decrease there. That you're about 15% top line revenue decrease from what they were expected to have, and that
Yeah.
was before this announcement of their second largest market being limited. So that's scary.
Yeah, their gaming segment did not do well, and they also did. I can't remember. I feel like it was like $1 billion less projection for next quarter too. It was like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, they lopped $1 billion off. So, this is just my first whack at it. This is just me throwing some numbers into the Everything Money software here. And as your saying goes, garbage in,
Wow.
garbage out. Okay. But this
Wow.
was, I thought, a reasonable kind of point where I'd be a little bit more interested in doing due
Wow.
diligence in terms of deeper dive and projecting out what I think they can actually achieve in terms of revenue growth. So I put some kind of conservative numbers in here: the 6, 8, and 12% top of the line revenue growth. Profit margins I kept about consistent. Same with free cash flow margin. PE, I gave them still like above historical market average, but because Nvidia does have some great things about them. For once, this is an interesting point. Apple and Nvidia, they have kind of similar thought process in that they both deliver hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what the gross margin is for either company?
I would assume Apple's is much better.
No, Nvidia's is actually much better.
Really?
In terms of gross margin, Apple's about low 40s, 43, 44%. Nvidia's like 60%. That
That's
is a
actually.
sexy company right there when you have a company that is delivering a hardware product at software like gross margins
I wonder
because
how
their
they're
products
that
are just
high.
that much better than the competitors,
Yeah, I
right?
wonder how they're that high because they're not a fab, so they got to pay
No,
Taiwan semiconductors.
exactly. But no, that is pricing power. That's what you're seeing right there. Is that people
Okay.
want their products. So that's a company I really would love to own. The problem with them is that they're going to have some serious issues overcoming these China import limitations, and just kind of where we are in the market cycle. You're seeing gaming kind of winding down. So I wanted to throw some numbers in here. I threw like a pretty aggressive desired annual return of 15%. I personally like to achieve somewhere closer to that. If I'm going to try to buy individual stocks rather than holding the S&P 500 index fund, I feel like I need to be compensated for that, plus a little bit of adjustment for risk factor, particularly given this like macroeconomic environment. So if we get down into the $50 to $60 a share range, which I know is more than a
Oh,
50% decline from here, that'll be where I'll be interested in at least opening a position in Nvidia and seeing how it's going from there. But I think they still have a long way to fall. Is kind of my point here, given the fact that they have this macroeconomic headwind of the China kind of importation ban, and you're just where we are in the business cycle. But it is a
My
sexy
God!
company.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody, stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay
Yeah,
calm.
Wait.
yeah.
Everybody,
Stay calm.
calm
Okay,
down.
stay
No.
calm.
it's a problem. That's
Yeah.
Nvidia shareholders right there. I'm one of them.
You know, I mean, honestly, it's a tough place to be in. I don't know if I would be holding through this. I think there's going to be a much better entry point coming for them, to
Yeah,
be quite frank.
definitely could be.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
Well,
don't
I'm
know.
gonna have to
It's a tough decision,
reevaluate
but like
my
it is.
shares. Oh
Yeah,
boy. All right.
I know, right?
Well, this begs the question: did Nancy Pelosi know beforehand? Kind of seems like she did.
Yeah, I suspect so.
Interesting. Wonder what we could do about that. Maybe, I don't know, not doing effing trades if you're in Congress. Investments are different. Trades? Shit. That's ridiculous. All
Well,
right.
the lesson for you too is if she sold, you should sell.
You should
whatever
sell.
she owns. Sell when she sells.
If she owns a stock that you have and she sells, you sell everything. Maybe buy puts too. Doesn't matter how much you believe in them because there's something coming.
Exactly. All
All
right,
right,
guys.
guys.
Let us know what you think about this in the comments below.
Later.